Welcome to Your Opinion Don't Count, the podcast where we dive into the hottest debates and polarizing topics that spark conversation on both sides. We break down the arguments, challenge assumptions, and explore all angles. But in the end, no matter what you think, your opinion don't count. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, now that the presidential election is over and we could hopefully go back to normal without seeing everything about Trump and Kamala on TV. What are your thoughts about first the results?
Wait, before we start, right? Let me do a disclaimer here, right? I know nothing about American politics. A lot of what I have said over the past few days was more or less emotional, based on I'm the emotional guy. But listening to a lot of the conversation today between people from who support either side, a lot of interesting comments. And I know that people might probably say, well, Pat crazy, right? But listening to a lot of the arguments, Trump might just be the better choice. Shots fired.
Whoa. Big stuff.
That is a big switch from that was what 12 hours ago,
right? Yeah, but
we shall see.
Well, the Pat's defense, Pat doesn't follow any politics.
Exactly. Exactly. I was supposed to make one tinfoil hat.
Are any of you surprised?
Not really.
No.
Not really.
Absolutely not.
So you all throughout your personal day-to-day walk, your anecdotal takeaway was that Trump was going to win. You all already knew that.
I didn't.
Had a feeling.
I just felt like it wouldn't be surprising because I feel as though what we have been doing for a long time now is underestimating how comfortable Americans are with like abject racism. And that is going to take a back burner compared to their other concerns. I think that he is completely amoral, but the society is amoral. And so, it is what it is.
That's an interesting takeaway, and I know we can get to you. You've been hard on the racism tip, right? But the reason why I put it to that context because my jerk guy, me and him been going back and forth at it for my jerk, the guy that does my jerk food. Me and him.
Nice
you had to clear that up. The guy's a jerk. Go ahead.
Back and forth for like the last month, and he was heavy on Kamala, and he was talking. My thing to him was, regardless of how you feel, you do understand that Trump is going to win a landslide victory, right? And he was
it
like,
landslide?
Oh, no,
I think it was
I wasn't landslide.
Of course
it was. That was a landslide.
It was
Okay.
a landslide. I don't know if that was a landslide.
Okay.
You seen a presidential election that far widely spread before? That's not typical.
Okay.
That's a landslide in
That's
politics.
a landslide.
Like that, I'm learning.
But the thing was that I was saying, and this happens in the age of social media, when you start to get into your space, and it's the algorithm when you're on the computer, but it also happened amongst your friends and whoever, you don't get out of that groupthink. And for me, I always kind of pride myself on paying attention to the noise in the market as opposed to just like what is being fed to me.
Right.
And very objectively, the same way as I have kind of called the Bahamian elections, every single election for the past 20 years, it was the same thing for me with this presidential election. Like talking to how many of people you want to make it, 500 people or 400 people, it just seemed like enough of opinions to see that she didn't really stand a strong chance.
I think it would have been more surprising if she had actually won because it would have meant that people's mindset would have changed drastically or was drastically different than what I know Americans to be. So I expected them to act.
Why are you drawing that conclusion? Because you're
Because
venturing
I
into
don't,
some of the business that I'm in, and that
I
is
don't,
you're drawing conclusions based on results without evidence.
no. I thought I was not, I was actually from Biden and Kamala one. I was sitting down and I was thinking with Jesus, if he does not die during this term, who are they going to pick for the next election? Because in my mind, even if I wanted it, if I felt like, oh, well, she's black and she's smart and she's this and she's that, I kept on looking at, I watched all of those primaries before, and I don't think she was the best one amongst that crowd. She was all right, but she was not the best one amongst that crowd. And I couldn't see her being the one that they pick. I expected that they would have to do some kind of a primary, and then next thing you know, they talking about Biden running against Trump again. And I was like, well, why they do that? That don't make no sense. And then and I even after he just announced that he was gonna not do it, I still was thinking that they would throw at least it really surprised
Go back to a national convention and
yeah,
pick somebody. Yeah.
that was weird to me.
I agree with Tracy because that was my thought process too. When he stated that he wasn't running anymore, I thought they was going to take it back to convention and pick somebody. I was shocked to see that the default person was just Kamala. I'm not surprised by the results at all, for any number of reasons. But I would like to say that I'm very happy with what the stock market did today.
What did the stock market
Say
do?
it. It's one day.
What happened?
I didn't even look.
The gains. You didn't look?
I didn't look. No.
Gains.
See, I got to check right now. Y'all say these. I just set it and forget it.
You know, it's a good thing to set it and forget it. Not to mention all the throwaway cryptos. You now in the double and triple on the crypto front.
That's a big jump.
That's a big jump. Send me something, Dito.
That's a big jump. I like, okay, I like that. And that's just the beginning. Surprised? Was I surprised? He got more than I thought he was gonna get. I thought he was gonna be around 300, and looking right now, he could be around 312. I am shocked that it seems like the Republicans are getting both the Senate and the House as well.
That was shocking.
Which going forward means whatever it is that, their plans are, you now get to see whether or not they are going to be a benefit, because now you essentially have nobody blocking you. So you could basically put whatever your plan is for the country in place. And then at that point, people will be able to see whether it works or doesn't work for them. And then they have no excuses at that point.
Can't blame anyone. And that's the thing for this go round. You literally cannot blame anyone. You have a sitting Republican president, you have a sitting Republican House and Republican Senate. So who do you blame?
And Supreme Court.
And Supreme Court. Right.
You don't run off to the who do you blame as if there's something wrong to be
No,
blamed
I'm not
for.
saying there's nothing wrong. I'm saying that
when it does
we
go
have
wrong.
4 years to put, if it does go wrong, we have 4 years to put a lot of policies in place, right? When we're looking at the state of affairs for America is a great no. Can it be better? Absolutely, yes. That's every country. But when we talk about, the things that are likely to go wrong, we have nobody to blame at the end of this 4 years because everything controlled by the Republicans. I think. Pardon?
Y'all could vote over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a citizen. I would say the only policy that I would be very concerned about is giving qualified immunity to law enforcement. That would be, over the next 4 years, that would be the only policy that I'm gravely concerned about. The social impact of that, economic wise, I think that if people are smart over this next 4 years, they'll be sitting in a better position. That I do believe.
It'll be better.
Right. And that's one of the only things that if I could point to anything, when you talk about qualified immunity, that's one of the only things that I could point to that I could say, yeah, that's gonna go left. And there's no way, like I wouldn't support that in isolation. But given that there's so many other things, see, this is what I have come to the kind of conclusion when I talk amongst many people is that somewhere along the way, your person, let's call them the average person, has ventured into the Republican Party or voting Republican, not to say they are a Republican, just to find a sense of normalcy. The both parties have their extremists, and both parties, I would say, have their ideologues. So people that would like on principle, like they are this and they are that. Or like I would, often make reference to, the 99.99% of the people that I know who are gay have voted Democratic, right? So it's those kind of people. But then there is the norm, like there is the status quo every day. Okay, it doesn't really matter to me so much who I vote for. I want to see some positive things happen. But for one, it seems as though the immigrants are running over the borders. I want to have, borders, some semblance of a border security. Then two, it's like I'm not confused about what is a man and a woman. Like I'm not caught up in the idea of all of whatever it is that's happening, of trying to figure out what's going on with all of this gender. I don't want to spend energy doing that. I just want to go with like more normal thing. And that person, I'm rarely finding that person in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, they just make me mad with that actually because it's like when it comes to that kind of stuff, you gotta go whole hog, and I take it hard to go whole hog when it comes to those things. Like I literally believe, from you as a human, you have equal rights, and I don't understand all these special things just because I need to feel special thing. That's nonsense to me. Everybody is a human, and so from you're a human, you straight. But like, I mean, but at the end of the day, when they trying to force all this weird stuff down your throat, like I can't get down with that because at the end of the day, biology remains the same.
Yep.
Down to a cellular level, you can't
Man
come
and
like
woman, that's what it is.
a human for 40 years now. I must change my definition of what a man is and what a woman is. That's nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So it's like certain situations you come down to like a soccer mom or something, and in her mind, the Democratic Party is putting themselves in position to let a little boy who is experiencing puberty and growing his muscles run up and down the soccer field and kick and beat up her little daughter. And it's like you only have a choice between this side and that side. Like why would you want to bring it down to the point where a person have to choose that? And that's what I think in a lot of these instances, like that's the kind of thing would happen. Like you can't even get to policies if y'all doing this nonsense. I can't even start to talk about these other things.
And they gone way too far with that stuff. They really, really, really gone too far with that.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
crazy. That's
Agreed.
crazy.
When it's down to the school level, we've ventured way
Right.
too far.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've underestimated how much that matters to people, I think.
Mhm.
I think it's somewhere in their mind, they're saying like that kind of stuff shouldn't be that significant to people, but it is.
It is. It is
Hell yeah.
significant. I mean, it's significant to parents who children have alternative, lifestyles that they identify with, but that's something that they're dealing with within the family. When we're pushing that, like in the school, for us to make a decision, I think we just ventured way too far, just
I
way
think
too far.
I think too, people get tired and sick of every TV show and every movie that you
Oh,
watch now.
everything. Yep.
Like it's like from coming from so many different sides that it's just ramming down. Like if it doesn't add anything to the story, why is it happening on
Yes.
my TV? You understand what
Even
I mean?
even like in certain video games what I play, right? Like one of my favorite video games is Assassin's Creed.
Mhm.
And it's like even throughout those games now, you have where you make certain choices, right? So if you have an interaction with a man, um, you could take it where you're just working as business partners, or you could take it to a romantic level. And I'm like, wait, why? Why? Why do
Yeah.
we even need that?
Okay, so y'all think this the major I guess linchpin for reasons that she failed, or is there any other reasons that climb to the top of that list?
I think the state of economy was number one, to be honest with you. Inflation beating everybody up, right? What we have to make almost 200 something $1,000 now to be technically comfortable in the US. That's a high number for everybody.
Wow.
We saw a lot of big corporations this year laying off, with the pending election, not, well, I guess considering what the state of affairs would be if one person doesn't win over another, right? And I think that's why we saw such a big jump in the market because as corporations responded and saying, hey, the Republicans' policies are going to support what I need to drive my business. And, you know, revenue is going to go up. We could start hiring people again. So I think come next year, it's going to be a large mass of hiring persons again, starting the first fiscal quarter. So when we look at that, it comes down to people want to know that they can live. I want to know that I can live on the little that I have. I want to know that I can afford gas. I want to know that I can afford groceries for my family. I shouldn't have to be living in fear of what happens if the bottom falls out. And I know that a lot of people saying, oh, we voted for a stimulus check. For me, I've decided that $1,200 don't apply to me, right? But in a sense, I'm comfortable with what the economy is going to be doing because we know at the end of the day, like him or not, as a character, he is very morally flawed, in my opinion. He is a businessman,
I don't
right?
agree with that at all, but go
But
on.
he is. He is. The thing
Well,
about it
yeah,
is,
yes.
He
when
is a
people look at when people,
he is a
but
man
here's the
who
thing.
knows how to work.
He
So he's not
uses
a
But here's
business.
the thing. He uses the laws that we have on the books to advance his wealth. There are laws
I
on the books.
I think he is very business savvy. He's
he,
despite some of the dumb things that I have heard him said, the mere fact that you could bankrupt all kind of businesses and still bounce back and still sit at the top, that says a lot
and
in
that's
my
the thing.
eyes.
He on paper, technically, he doesn't have any money, but he has wealth. So like the laws are on the books. We can't fault the man for using them, right? It just it
Yeah.
is what it is. And the thing about it is a lot of wealthy players do the same thing. The problem is they're not frontline as Trump and saying, hey, and he said it before, this is how you do it. Open your LLC, run everything through your business, take the tax deduction. Y'all just been applying the formula wrong. The laws are there. And people like, oh, wait a minute. Should we be saying that? And people really upset that he said it, but he has said it. We just haven't been applying the formula. So at the end of the day, I do give him credit on the business side. He's morally flawed. Yes. Um, in terms of the international relations, uh, for me, it's uneasy. How he approaches international relations, it's very, very uneasy. But like I said, at the end of the day, it comes down to what people, when it comes to feeding your family, that's the go-to they're going with. As long as can securely see this economy move in the green, that's where the people vote go in. Yes, Kamala's what abortion stands, reproductive rights are very important, but you have to talk about the voting demographic in the voting pool, right? That is going to resonate with our demographic of people. Yes, it will. With the demographic of people that have more money on paper than we do, what's going to resonate with them? The economy. We know where the votes go in. And then you have persons that just were split. They don't like any party. So guess what they did? They voted liberal. Where does that leave you with the votes?
Yeah.
Yeah, very
But
true. Very true.
so Wayne, do you agree with that? I mean, as in economy being number one, or you think there's something else that hang her out to dry?
No, I really think that for one, when it came to the situation of being polarized, I don't think that she was not a standout candidate. So she was a space filler. So in that sense, she already was battling uphill. So the fact that a lot of people they see the mask and they see the empire behind the veil. So it's like this regime. What are you seeing with this regime? And I think that once people look at that, like the economy, I think is a huge issue and it's one that's very palpable and one that people feel. But I just don't think that that's something when you start to talk about the economy, you're almost saying, okay, I value you two equally. Now let me see what it is you're going to do for my pocket. And I don't think it came down to that for a lot of people, because for a lot of people, you just could not take her seriously. There was nothing that was there. And it was like the icing on the cake is, by the way, this economy is going to improve. I am also going to feel much better financially off voting for Trump. Why would I not be doing this? That's the way how I see it. Now, whether that makes it number one or makes it whatever, I just think she was a significantly flawed candidate. She didn't have any special pull. She didn't have any, and I specifically went out of my way, like I told you guys, because at first I was like, you know who did it to me when Anku actually did it on Facebook, where he didn't say much, but he saw me post something about Trump in a joking manner, and he said something about white supremacy. And of course, with my background and our interactions, I was taking a look and like, okay, let me just double check, double down on the black and white issue, on if this is one of those things when I should just be supporting black at all costs. And because there's many issues where I would do that. There's many instances where I would do that. But in looking at the details of her situation, there wasn't enough blackness for me to do that. Like in Obama's case, it was there.
Right.
That like it was just about the black, and that was cool, and I would be good with that. But for her, it just wasn't there, in the sense that you have to understand too, while you may call Trump a white supremacist, racist character, there's no reason for Kamala Harris not to be a white supremacist, racist character. That's it. Just because she black don't mean she's not participating in racism. And so if I'm not seeing any significance of you not fulfilling that role, particularly being in a position of power in America in that type of institution, political party of that significance, and I just didn't see it.
So Dito, but watch this. You want to notice too, when she first started out, she started to say stuff against like what was going on in Palestine, and then she quickly got shut up on that. And then she even did start to address the economy, and then it seemed like her handlers to me, all of the things where she could have like differentiate herself from Joe Biden, it's like they carry her in a room and they was like, look, this the party line. Do not break with that. And so
They probably did send a lamb to slaughter.
I'm telling you, because she stopped talking, but not completely at one point. I said, wow, okay. And
They
that's
probably
what
did send a lamb to slaughter.
every time somebody asked her, well, what makes you different from Joe Biden and blah 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 blah, she would always curve that question. She would find a
Nothing I can think of.
huh?
Nothing I can
She's
think
always
of.
been in line with Joe Biden's policies. That's been her
Yeah.
response. I'm in line with.
That. But she didn't have no person. Listen, trust me, when I said, because she was one of the weakest ones from the last primaries. I couldn't even understand why they
Why she
let
was
her
there.
hide like that.
They
Yeah.
probably just sent her to slaughter. And Tracy, that's a good point because when you think about it, she's been VP for how many years?
And she was
I
like
almost didn't even
nowhere to
remember
be
she was
found.
VP.
She was nowhere to be found for the longest.
When she pop up, the only time I specifically remember that Kamala was VP was when Biden had to have that surgery and she was temporarily sworn in. I didn't see her before. When I saw her before that was the last election. What I saw after that was when Joe was like, he isn't running. And here they forced Kamala. She may have been sent to slaughter. They might have sent the lamb to slaughter.
Yeah, I think looking back at everything, I think what happened is the Democratic Party looked at it and said there's a high likelihood that there's no way they could win that because they don't have a strong candidate to put forward. And when Biden did that fumble in the debate, they were like, we can't send him up there because if we send him up there, it could look like we just trying to lose this. So that,
You don't think that Gretchen Whitmer lady was better than her? I thought she was better than
Yes.
her.
Hold on. I think there were people that were better than her, but I don't think that there was anybody that they could have reliably put up against Trump. And so I think at this point in time, they said, let's put somebody up there to lose, and the easiest person to put on the chopping block was Kamala because she is the logically next in line. So they said, let's put her up there, and hey, if we happen to win, great, but we probably going in it that we're gonna lose, and then they got 4 years to pull themselves back together and actually find somebody for the country to rally behind, or at least the party to rally behind.
I can't believe that because I was really shocked with how quickly everybody just, as soon as they announced her, everybody like, yeah, we support her. Yeah, we support her. I was like, hold on, what's going on?
Hey,
Her personality, her presence falls flat, so that makes sense. So they just was like, let's send this one to slaughter and let's regroup. She falls flat. Her policies falls flat. Her speaking engagements she just falls flat for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
why was no one saying this? Why does it seemed like it was not a lot of sober commentary from, like, if I'm a person, even if I'm supporting you because of colors or whatever, team colors, I will be able to objectively look and say, hey, I wish it was like this, that, and the third, but we could rely on X, Y, and Z from you. I didn't hear a lot of that about her. It seemed as though people were quite ecstatic to say they were supporting her. They were telling you and they were shaming you for not supporting her. They were telling you that you're only doing this because she's a woman. You're only doing this because she is black. So if all of these other things were true, how come all of that took hold as it relates to all of the shaming, different groups as this and that, black men, and
a lot of wishful thinking.
So
a lot of people really don't like Trump, and then they want to believe that she could be an answer, and it looks good. It would be so very headline worthy that a black woman is now the president of the United States, blah, 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 blah. So I think people are trying to go for that feel good factor and not really looking at what would actually win.
So I think there's two parts of that. One part is that when they first announced her, it was the initial, okay, it ain't Biden, like, because there's no way he could win. And so when she came out of the gate, I mean, she speaks more eloquently than Trump, and she looks better than Biden when she first came out. But it was when she started doing these multiple
Trump.
huh?
She also looks better than Trump.
that too. And so as
Yeah,
she started doing more and more interviews, you started to see like it she's good on teleprompter, like, and so all of her answers became the same thing over and over, and it 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 broke the facade. So I think that because of that, and that's also part of the reason why they did it so close to the election, because maybe they know the kind of person she is. They know that we can't just put her up there to wing it. So therefore, because as you say, she tried to wing it early on, but they reined her back in, and so she started following the teleprompter, trying not to get off track. And when people started seeing that, it was like you get a look behind the veil, and yo, this ain't what we were signing up for.
she seemed like a very willing puppet, in my opinion, because you sound like you almost think she was tension. She looked like she was very happy to be that puppet.
No, I'm sure she was, and probably there was some part of her. I mean, she was in the race, so she at least had a chance to become president. And I saw anybody in the political sphere, hey, if I could be president, I could be president. You know.
Yeah, and that's true. It actually it happens in corporate spaces as well. And in a lot of instances, you have someone that you need a particular skill set or a particular person there, but you have someone that's maybe you just made a big fire in, and you have the next in line, and you just tell them, hey, we going out to get a big dog in 6 months, but you could be right there. You can give it a shot. If you do a good enough job, you might be able to stay and you line them up there with a 99% failure rate,
Failure
you know
rate.
what they're going up against. But because it could be such a big jump for them, or because whatever it is, they still just go ahead and take the chance.
Okay. So now with that, so what are the detriments for Trump? I see. I know Tracy was talking about Mr. White supremacy, and I know Pat earlier was talking about his Amera triple KA. So, so tell me your thoughts on that, Tracy. You were saying with Trump.
I think that he is very racist. I do believe that, and I believe that long before he was even doing The Apprentice and all. So like I really need to make sure you all understand. I wasn't really for Kamala. I thought she was very problematic, but I definitely also wasn't for Trump. I've just been watching it literally as a comedy. It's funny to me. So it is. It's funny to me. But at the end of the day, with him, I think that he has been in a tax bracket for such a long time where it doesn't really matter how racist he is. I am just intrigued by how many Americans, how intense, I should say, the racism of other Americans are, like to the point where that Madison's the Madison Square Gardens rally that he did, where the guy made that joke about the Puerto Ricans. There was another man who spoke at that, and he started saying a bunch of stuff. And at one point, he's like, I mean, well, I'm at a Nazi rally, so I could say this, that, the next. And I was like, it's very problematic to me that he makes so many racist people feel empowered. That's problematic, bro. I don't know. It seems scary to me.
You think you could put your finger on what makes Trump a racist in your book?
What makes Trump a racist?
Yeah, like what can you point
Oh,
to that made you say this guy is racist?
you mean
Yeah,
like
let me ask
redlining that his
AI.
family got that his family was carried to court for and was for from in the 70s, like starting all the way back then, or you need something recent?
No, I am asking a sincere question as it relates to
And I
that.
am saying to you that he has a history from literally before all of us were born, where he was getting carried to court over his actual racism. So I don't know what you're asking me at this point when you say that. I feel like it's a loaded question at this point.
You want me to read what AI say?
Sure, go ahead. What did I say?
Go ahead, this whew, plenty. All right, let me start from the beginning. So, this is what AI say. Gotta love AI.
What was the prompt?
I
Yeah,
asked what
stop it.
makes Donald Trump racist? The topic of
Why
racism
whispering this?
The topic of racism regarding Donald Trump is complex and often polarizing as it involves a mix of public statements, policies, and interpretations by various groups and individuals. There are some common points that critics cite when describing actions or comments made by Trump as racially insensitive or potentially discriminatory. Here are some of the main points often raised. One, housing discrimination lawsuit 1973. Trump's real estate company was sued by the U.S. Department of Justice for allegedly discriminating against black renters. Although the case was settled without an admission of wrongdoing, it has been cited as early evidence of discriminatory practices. Two, Central Park 5 incident. In 89, Trump took out full page ads calling for the reinstatement of the death penalty after 5 Black and Latino teenagers were accused of assaulting a jogger. Even after the Central, what the hell? Even after the Central Park 5 were exonerated by DNA evidence years later, Trump maintained his belief in their guilt. Three, comments of Mexican immigrants. During his 2015 campaign announcement, Trump made a widely criticized statement saying when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best, they're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime, they're rapists. This comment has been seen as a generalization of Mexican immigrants as criminals. Four, travel ban. In 2017, Trump signed an executive order that restricted travel from several Muslim majority countries. Critics labeled the Muslim ban, argue, Critics labeled it the Muslim ban, arguing it targeted people based on religion and national origin, though Trump and his supporters contended it was necessary for national security. Five, the shithole countries comment. In 2018, Trump reportedly referred to certain African nations and Haiti as shithole countries, while questioning why the U.S. couldn't have more immigrants from places like Norway. This remark was widely condemned as radically racially insensitive. Six, and anyway, I ain't gonna read through all of it, but it's eight. Six is go back tweets. Seven is Charlottesville comments. Eight is response to Black Lives Matters protest. Nine, treatment of minorities in the criminal justice system. Many of Trump's supporters argue that these instances are often taken out of context and they emphasize his policies on economic growth, immigration, and criminal justice that they believe benefit all Americans. The question of whether Trump's actions are explicitly racist or reflect deeper systemic issues is ultimately subject to interpretation depending on one's perspective.
Okay.
Hey, I got some good information.
So the fact that
You
we
know
want
what's
immigrants
so
specifically
crazy
from
about that?
Norway,
What-
we want the lighter hue immigrants, right? We want, and I always say this. He always harken on immigrants. This is my issue. One of my issues with him. He likes to hark on immigrants when he's imported each wife. I understand it. All immigrants.
But all of them
Wife is imported.
They okay.
Every
Right.
single wife is imported. All immigrants. The hue of your skin, I think, is an issue for him.
They was white. That's the thing. They was white immigrants.
And that's the thing. So it's hard to say that he's not, when it's a clear depiction of people of darker hue skin. He's just, we can't just say racially insensitive. It's racist. It's giving
How
racism.
is it? What I mean, for one, those things I relate to prejudice more than racist. So out of that wide list of things that were there, and I'm not defending Trump. I'm only going through the exercise to find out how people land where they land, primarily because I don't see Trump acting much different than 80% of the white people that I know.
So we just want to land on he's just prejudiced against people with tinted skin.
Yeah, but
No,
No matter where you are from in the world, no matter where you're from.
I think it's more
First of all, I don't
classist than
think-
anything else.
I don't
But when we
think
think
that
about
what you're
classes,
referring to-
every single country has classation. So what we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, but what
Don't we
you're
have
alluding
wait,
to,
don't we have rapists and murderers in Norway? No, we don't have them? And
yeah,
drug
but
dealers in
no, I
Norway?
mean
No?
that's very simply kind of debunked with the fact that you don't have a Norway influx of Norwegians into the US.
Yeah, but he was
So
saying
I
that's what he
mean,
wants. That's what he wants. He
no,
wants
no, 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 no. What? No. See, my thing is, I don't try to speak to people's hearts and their thoughts. I like
but
to focus on their
he literally
actions.
said that. Not because
He's
I
wording
said
it though.
he
It's coming out
literally
of his
said
mouth.
he wants
It's
more
worded.
people from there to come instead of the dark skinned people. He said that. I'm not inferring anything. He said that.
Well, I've never heard him say that he
Well,
wants
then you can
people
go
from
look it
Norway
up.
to come and not dark-skinned
Reading it.
people.
He literally did
Reading
it.
it.
He said it. He said it. I
Pat,
would have never
can
Hey.
you
dreamed
please,
to say he said that. He said it.
can you please establish establish something in their order in the court?
What did it say? More people, or was it more immigrants? More what from Norway? Why can't we?
I will look up the exact quote right now.
Yeah, look it up. And I'll give a little anecdote in between, and this goes to the power of technology and the influence of politics in the technology sphere. Early when AI had come out, I asked AI to give me the perfect date to take my sweetheart on, right?
Whoa.
And the AI told me, the AI said that they cannot assist me with my requests because
See something.
and they took sweetheart out. They took what I meant from saying sweetheart, and they said that marriage is an institution where you should be seeking some way. They sent me to counseling. They told me that they will not help me to find a date to take my sweetheart on because I need to focus on my marriage and I need to go to counseling. But
Are you mad because AI, which uses natural language and processes from actual humans have morals?
How long ago was this?
no, but that's not moral.
How long ago was this? Let's test the
Okay, once you
algorithm
take your
now.
sweetheart out, you need to go back to your wife. What happened?
Test it now. That was last year. It was early.
What prompt to give it? Give me
I had asked. No, I said, give me a perfect date to take my sweetheart. I named a little bit more specifics I'll leave out, but I'll give just a perfect date to take your
Send it in
sweetheart.
WhatsApp. Send it in WhatsApp. Send the prompt.
Hey,
Send the prompt in WhatsApp.
Of course, this was all a theoretical exercise. Of course, this is what this was an experiment.
Yes.
This was research.
Hey, hold on. Well, it appears that AI has evolved. A perfect date can be romantic, thoughtful, and unique to what your sweetheart loves. Here's a cozy and intimate idea that combines thoughtful details with a memorable experience. Start with a scenic outdoor location. Pick a spot with a beautiful view, like a beach at sunset, a scenic overlook, or even a quiet garden. Hold on, let's see. Number 2, bring their favorite drink. Number 3,
or mistress.
Yeah.
What's that?
Use mistress.
Use sweetheart different than be used sweetheart.
Yeah.
Mistress. Not even side.
I think Wiz said side piece.
Okay, to answer the shit old countries comment, I couldn't find the exact quote, so I asked AI.
I have the quote.
Hold on, no. So this is what AI said. This is what ChatGPT says. In January 2018, former U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly referred to some nations as shithole countries during a meeting on immigration policy in the Oval Office. According to sources present, Trump allegedly questioned why the United States should accept immigrants from shithole countries like Haiti, El Salvador, and certain African nations. Instead expressing a preference for immigrants from places like Norway. So there isn't a recorded quote of what he exactly said.
So it wasn't recorded, so it didn't happen.
No, it's not. Hold on. It's not saying that it didn't happen. It's saying that when people have a bias towards something, regardless of what you say, they're going to paint it in the tinge that they see it in. if somebody has a favorable notion towards him,
I like, come on, man, Dito,
what
y'all is
I
doing too much for this devil's advocate shit. Y'all is go too far.
it ain't going too
Like you as
far.
a person, man. Stop, man.
See,
Stop, please.
I
Stop it.
I can't allow my emotions or any type of comment get in the way, because if I tinge anything with my emotions, then I just could go based off what I feel, not what the actual thing is. Like even in some of the other comments that Pat said, like the Central Park 5 thing, he took, yes, he did take out a full page paper, but also at the same time, that was when the Central Park 5 had falsely admitted to the thing, falsely admitted to the crime,
He's
right?
pressure in interrogation.
Yeah, they were pressured in the interrogation and they falsely admitted
We want
to
to give police officers qualified immunity.
what?
You know what?
I
I
guess.
just, I
Go
just,
ahead.
I am weak.
No, no, hold on, wait. You hear me say that? You ever hear me say that? Qualified immunity depends on what qualified immunity means. I would
But
have to read up on what that is.
I
Yeah,
would be,
I think you should.
I'm in agreement with
Yeah,
you that I can't hold that statement to Trump because it was two sources. It is no recording of him saying that,
exactly. Now,
him
uh,
Also,
saying it.
all right, he ain't see, he never do.
no,
I don't.
no.
But that one
I
we
mean,
can't, that one we can't put on him, man.
All
yeah,
right,
but
no,
it's not that he doesn't use colorful language. It's not like
no,
it's clear that he does. Huh?
no, I listening because I
It,
can't read now.
no, it's clear that he does use colorful language, but I am in the agreement with Wayne that I don't think it has anything to do with racism. I think it's more of a classist thing
I
than
don't think.
than anything else.
I don't think so because why the nice people, the nice countries are like Switzerland and
Uh,
Denmark.
Again, that's a second-hand source. It's the same way that one of his generals said that at the funeral, he besmirched veterans
So
and
he
the
didn't do
fam.
that either. Because you
Well,
weren't here with your ears. He didn't do that
no,
either.
well, the families and other people there said that that was never said.
That's what
So,
they said. They didn't hear it, or they said it
huh?
was never said.
They said it was never said. Other,
Never.
Hey,
not just the families, but also other people in the cabinet that was with him said that only one person said that he said these things. So
You telling
it's
me now you never been in a public situation where there's a bunch of people around and you never say, and you couldn't say something to somebody right next to you and only them
no,
could hear it, all
uh,
kind of people there.
no, I don't disagree with you. But
Thing
when you
about
have
it, thing about it is, let me show you why I tend to believe some of these things. Not because there's no evidence and I just hating on him today. A lot of times when people are saying he said these things, it's because they themselves are so surprised. Like they wouldn't come up with it themselves. They are so shocked and surprised that anyone would say these things, especially in the settings and the ways that he is
okay,
saying.
so I got a question with that, because even though we have information on, I'm gonna use Trump in particular. We have information on things that he's actually said, but yet people take it in the news and they twist what he says, and it says something completely different from what he actually said.
Well, I
Right?
don't watch damn news. I just
No,
watch it for him, and he's
no.
talk a bunch.
So what I'm saying is what I'm saying is when we even have video proof of what he says, but people are
Right.
still saying he's saying something different, and you could look it up yourself and say,
I literally
okay,
watched that man stand up and talk for 12 minutes about that stupid other man, friggin' the dead man, penis. Don't play with me. He is so foul and vile and gross.
I'm not saying that he isn't foul, but I'm addressing your statement of somebody could tell you something. Yes, somebody could tell you something. But at the same time, you have people that are blatantly lying about what he said when you can see it for yourself. That is my opposition to
Patrick,
that.
Patrick, you know what I think? I believe in multiple dimensions and the multi and all of that. And I believe that we are tied to each other. And in another universe somewhere, I am a big
You
criminal and y'all are my legal team. And I just get away with it. That's what I believe. My PR person is Pat. He got the passion. Okay. This same
Uh,
Tito is the general in the background. He is
What,
and him and when there's
What
come up
Wayne
with
is?
it,
arguments,
it,
okay? And then Gigi, she just keep me calm. So I
hey,
don't
hey, as a bunch of lawyers like to say, it ain't about what happened, it's about what you can prove.
Proof,
True, man.
yeah. So
It,
can we can agree that he's prejudiced then, clearly against people of color.
yeah, I mean,
I never really got the whole difference between prejudice and racism. Aren't they one and
racism
the
is just
same?
racism is just a type of prejudice. Prejudice is just you have a disdain towards somebody. Racism is you just have a disdain towards that person because of the color of their skin. Classism, you have a disdain towards somebody because of their stance in life, the class in which they live. It's
Hmm.
just a different form of prejudice that you could like directly point to what it is they don't like. Yeah, I'm sure, but everybody has prejudices. I mean, and I've heard people say the racist thing, but then again, it comes off that anytime a Republican is in office, they call that person a racist. Like Kanye
know.
West. Kanye West says, George Bush don't like black people.
I
You know,
agree, but go on.
I mean, it could be true, but what I'm saying is it just seems that whenever a Republican is in office, that's what happened. They even said it about Ben Carson. So,
You
huh? He what?
you ever listen to these people talk? I don't be saying these because I'm just an emotional person, you know. I be saying these things because I take my time and go and actually listen to them talk. And they be like, oh, that's why people say that about you. Okay. Now I get it. Ben Carson is all damn Uncle Tom piece of shit.
Yeah. That one there is
There's
Uncle
not Uncle
Tom.
Tom and Cello.
Him and Clarence Thomas. Let me say it. I
But
said
here's
it.
the thing.
I
Here's
did.
here's the fact about Ben Carson. He do all that selling out and still wasn't the chosen one.
I
How about
know
that?
exactly.
That must feel shitty.
I sure he don't care as long as he money straight.
All that and still ain't getting
Camera
nowhere.
roll. My
So,
camera roll.
but this all just goes to what I'm saying. Like so far, everybody I name, and even you naming Clarence Thomas, all of them is Republicans, but those the only one getting labeled racist. Whereas I can't say that it is definitely racism. I mean, it's one prejudice in and of itself is on a particular thing. It's a lot more difficult to prove. Not to say that you can't see things of it there, signs of it there, but it is difficult to prove. There are some people that just come out and say it, like you got the Nick Fuenteses and the David Dukes. They just come out and say it outright. But then also on the other hand, you got Joe Biden who literally say nigga like in the 1980s, 1970s on TV, reading off his script.
But then, see, okay,
I don't think Joe
I
Biden is
glad
a fan of black people.
I'm glad you bring him up because to me, again, I don't think that just because a person is a Republican, they are racist. I think that white people in America are racist. I think that
All of them, all of them.
I, I think as a collective, yes. Okay. I think that in groups, I do not trust no bunch of white people from the United States. If I'm the only black person, there's a bunch of them. I trust me, everything pinging, everything on me, all my hair. Whoops, I on high alert, bro. I don't trust them.
Oh
Like even
boy.
not even a little bit. And especially the older I
But
get,
Tito lighter hue, but I
Eh,
can definitely
Tito is
say,
passing. He is not no
right, he is passing. I
but
can
that's
definitely say moving from home to here, yeah, I had like a reality check because all of us home, we ain't looking really at the colorism part of it. All of us black, we ain't really care. We just going on living life. But moving
but
here, whoa.
I mean, I've had a whole mix of of experiences being that I ain't never fit in nowhere, no matter where I've been. I
You
I
ain't
live,
white enough and you ain't black enough.
and I ain't Spanish enough neither.
You ain't
So I
Spanish
mean,
enough either.
so
You just in limbo.
That's my mommy. My mommy
yeah,
ain't white enough, she ain't black enough, she ain't Jewish enough.
That's the
yeah.
same thing when I go over there. Like,
That
where do
sucks.
I fit in?
But I mean, and the thing is well, whenever, especially in Florida, whenever I go out and then, people start talking to me in Spanish and I gotta be like, hey, I don't speak Spanish.
With
And
this
then
whole Spanish last name.
No
last name,
speaking
whole
Espanol.
Oh
name.
yeah, Eduardo
Yeah,
too.
boy. Eduardo
So soon as
Jimenez.
I pull out
I
pull
thought
out
you spelled Dino. And Dino is Spanish too. Oh
yeah,
gee.
soon as I pull out the ID, be like, I get in look at where, like, what you
He
mean
was
you
a
don't speak
disgrace,
Spanish?
dog.
Yeah.
He was a disgrace.
Parents
So
failed you.
so I mean, like, and I've been in the hood in North Carolina, and it was like, again, no, my been in Beverly Hills, is all of these different places. Again, ain't fit in nowhere. So, huh?
They say life hard for you. At least I know for sure I black.
Hmm.
I know for sure that I know for sure that nice have to I being a woman and my daddy put it a good way. He said, black women they been taking shit for so long. They just don't care no more. So white women will defer to white men. And black men, even if they're not sure of themselves, they'll cower in the face of a powerful white man. But a black woman do not give shit, and I don't give shit. Says back the ass up.
That's true.
I telling you, I
That's
almost
true.
I was scared I was gonna get thrown off on yacht. I was on the
I
catamaran, and I thought I was gonna get thrown off because this white man who owned the catamaran. It's me and a bunch of women from New York, a bunch of producers and stuff like that on a film shoot. Guess who's on the film shoot? Will Parker. So it's a big freaking thing. We on this boat. We were they put all the women on this boat with this man, and he's a older white man. He can jump up and start trying to sell us the story, the Bill Gates story about, and the world needs to be depopulated, blah, blah, blah. There's too much people on the planet. I say, first of all, the housing market, everywhere in the world, there are more empty homes than there are homeless people. So you're done talking a bunch of shit. I say, you can't say that there's a lack of food because every
Every
supermarket,
day.
every restaurant, every
just throw
fast
food
food,
away.
every hotel, every cruise, they
Throwing food
throw
away.
all mass amounts of food away every single day. So you
Yep.
can't say it ain't enough food or it ain't enough resources, whatever. So if you are talking about depopulating the world, you just want to get rid of people. And I asked him very plainly, I said, bro, the people who you want to get rid of first so that you could reach this magic number that's going to make you comfortable on planet Earth. They look like you or they look like me. I said, because guess what? There's poor people everywhere in the world. You have poor black people who look like me. You have poor brown
White.
people. You have poor white people all over in Eastern Europe. So which ones are you going to start with? You can start with the poor Eastern European set, or you can start with the poor black ones, or you can start with the poor Indians, or you can start with the poor South American ones. Talk to me.
Interesting.
Yeah, he wanted to put you off that catamaran.
I think he probably would have. Did he answer you first?
He just looked at me, and all of
Uh,
those ladies, there was a Jewish lady, and then there was all of them were from New York and Connecticut, and
I
all of them was just like, and he just looked at me. You know what he did do the next time that he saw me on a different gig? This man rushed up on me. It was all these models and stuff like that because it was a reality TV thing that we were doing. And when he saw me, he walked up to me and he grabbed me and he gave me a big, tight, warm hug. He was like, "I'm so glad to see you."
and he say, Tracy, don't worry, you ain't gonna be one of the ones going, okay?
He can keep on. He can keep on.
Gotta keep this one close.
What? Bro, you like when
Take it
they
to the house.
carry on with like that with them, then they just think they can run
Yeah.
over you.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. And the thing about it is, it ain't even that the world overpopulated. You get rid of greed, we solve the problem. Boom. How about that?
Yep.
If you get rid of greed, we solve the problem.
how you do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. How do you do that?
Now that part I can figure out, but I'm
See,
just saying the problem is not that the world is overpopulated, because we identified that we have too much houses in the market. People just can't afford it. Restaurants throw away food, grocery stores, the influx in prices.
So
Ain't nobody want to take the loss. That's what it is.
okay, so
Rich people don't want to take the loss.
so no, in terms of food, and I could speak on this because I've been dumpster diving before. So when I used to live
You
in
find
North Carolina,
anything good?
no, I was dumpster diving for food, not for me though. Okay, so what happens is
You ain't gotta be
in,
ashamed, you know. I've
in
been rock bottom before too.
no
Why
in,
listen? Because I used to
in
share them $5
Nobody
meals
say
from
it
Pollo
now.
Tropical with me and
yeah.
my baby.
So in America, there's a lot of regulations in terms of giving away food. So what I used to give food to the homeless for this organization called Food Not Bombs, and we used to try go to places in order to get like the leftovers from the end of the day, right? So especially like with bread, like you go with Panera was one of the few places that like didn't give a shit. Like they would give you the bread rather than throw it away. But like you go to like the Food Lion Bakery or the Walmart, they're like, yeah, we can't give it to you because it's a liability. If something happened, they can't.
That's messed up.
Right. So they throw it away. So what we would end up doing is going and getting dumpster diving, getting fruits, veggies, whatever that you could still use. You
It's
could
a
cut
big
around.
package, yeah.
Yeah, you could cut around the soft part and thing like that.
So okay, so
So crazy because
if
the FDA is owned by a bunch of private companies. It
but
ain't even governmental.
what I trying to
Guys,
understand, so a company can throw a bunch of food away
Hmm.
in their dumpster behind their building,
Right.
and then y'all could go in and dumpster dive it, and
Yeah.
that removes the liability from them.
Yeah, because they didn't give it to you.
But sometimes that even doesn't work though, because I'm sure that I've heard of cases where even they still will do something even if you go in the dumpster and get it.
So
That's the same thing over here though,
so
Dito.
so that's dependent on state. And so what states that would still claim the place liable, you would see like food stores and stuff, they have those big trash compactors. So you can't even go dumpster diving for them.
Right.
So
Right.
Wow.
That's the same thing here because that's what Hands for Hunger had to do. They had to basically go and do a formal contract with Atlantis and with whoever else is get food from at the end of the day. And it wasn't like it was like a years long process to actually iron everything out so that they could actually do it and say, well, if you're getting this food from us, but we're not liable if somebody eats it and there was mold or they get sick or whatever it is, then we're not liable, blah 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 blah. And they have to do a whole bunch of paperwork just to be able to do that.
and
And
the
that's
crazy
capitalism, though.
yeah, I don't know if I would call that capitalism. I just call that too much government regulation or the ability for people to be able to sue because of liabilities and stuff like that. And so there in those situations, it's funny to me because either way, if they throw it away, they could write it off as a loss, or if they give it away, they could write it off as charity.
Right.
So it's baffling that they just don't, I guess, remove the ability for people to sue them in those situations. To say, hey, you're taking this food at your own risk. But I mean, I guess if you buy the food, like you could sue them if you get food poisoning. So I
That's
don't know.
one less thing Trump ain't a change. Y'all know that, right?
Oh no, of course not.
Yo, I just want no
how
income
old is he?
tax. 80.
Do you think he can
80?
stop it all from
Yeah.
doing sometimes?
Huh? That's what he say?
Okay, then we can see. I want to see that one happen.
What he changing?
No, he
Draws
he say no income tax. That would be wonderful.
That'd
No
be
income,
amazing.
That'll be
no
America.
income tax. But then
Or just
and then
reduce it.
And then what
reduce.
tax is he going to implement then? He can put in VAT tax.
So what he said is he would.
Everybody's pay sales tax.
Yeah.
Hold on. See, that's the thing. And I really, this whole taxation system is just, when I get my paycheck, I get federal. Well, I get state taxes no more, praise the Lord. So I get federal taxes. I used to have federal and state taxes. Then I literally have to pay tax on everything. I gotta go to the food store, I gotta pay tax on that. I gotta go get my oil change, I gotta go pay tax on that. Gotta get my maturing clothes, gotta go pay tax on that. Gotta pay my child's school fee, gotta pay tax on that.
It's amazing. It's amazing how the money that we work for, that we spend our time to work for,
Taxation is slavery, bro.
to buy the necessities.
Income tax is slavery.
Agreed.
Income tax is slavery. That's my stance.
The only reason
That's exactly what it is. Taxing it anyway.
For over 100 years in the United States, they could not implement income tax because the people would revolt. And the only reason why they were able to actually implement income tax was because of the World War.
World War One. Yeah.
That was it. And then it was only supposed to be temporary. But after the war was finished, they just kept it.
So that's,
and people was already subjugated at that point.
And see the thing about it is people don't realize and understand their power. That if people stand up in droves, they could revolt and they think could be reversed.
I can tell you one thing: if they abolish income tax, and the thing about it is, when you think about, you have a person, let's say, making $53,000 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give them one child, they can see a pretty nice tax return, right? You bump them up to actually being able to have a livable wage with today's cost of living. So let's bump them up to $10,000 a year. Their tax liability just jumped to like $26,000 a year. That's somebody income for the year. That's low income for the year. So it's like, I had to get to this bracket.
That's what a lot of people complain about in the States, that they don't even want to move out of their tax bracket, because if they move out, then they'll literally take home less money and it ain't making sense, this, that, the next thing. But what I was going to get at is Americans seem to forget that the whole reason why there is an America that is different from from Great Britain and all the rest of that is because these niggas was pissed off that they was getting taxed over tea.
Tell me about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was raising the tax. I think it was 2.5%.
Mm-hmm. And we got tears now.
Yeah,
I said they better do corporate tax and thing before they mess with anybody income.
So what Trump said he wanted to do, he wants to tariff any products coming into the country and remove income tax.
We can see how that actually works, because his tax cuts are apparently so severe that, I don't know, it sounds like it might end up being like the wall that Mexico is supposed to pay for.
No, well, the thing was when he lowered taxes the last time around, it actually increased government revenue. Go ahead.
I was saying he didn't lower tax for the average person though.
Oh no, he did.
Yeah,
I'm the average person. People like to say that. I can say quite clearly. I
used to do tax returns, and between when he first came into power and did all the tax, and he revised the tax laws, like my clients were so happy with their tax return. When we swapped to the Democrats, they used to be like, Gigi, what the hell? Oh no, y'all didn't read the policy before y'all went out and vote.
Well,
plenty people don't read.
No,
yeah, it's crazy. And so I looked up the current tax brackets, right? So let's take, if you make between 11,000 and 47,000, your tax liability is 12%, right?
And above that goes to 22%.
22%. So anything you make over
Up to
$47,151 is
so
up to
when,
100,525 is 22%.
and then from 100,000 525, I think it goes up to what, 490 something.
At 24%, it goes up. The income threshold is 191,950. From 24%, if you make over $191,951, now you're in the 32% tax bracket.
What the sick?
And you paying 32% on your salary each year. And that maxes out at 243,725. And if you make $609,351 or more, you at the 37% tax bracket.
What the sick?
And you're making it though. What I going to go say though, what I find interesting about all of this whole tax situation though, because all of y'all, it seemed like it's still missing the point that what they say the taxes are for is not what the taxes actually get spent on.
True.
And
True.
that is egregious.
No,
That-
it is egregious, and it comes down to a lot of these bills and stuff that they want to pass, and they want to do all of these things, and they label the bill one thing, but then when you go down and you read the things in it, it's crazy. Like the Inflation Reduction Act. When you go and read in there, they had, I think it was $50 million for the Smithsonian Library.
Right.
No, sorry, it's the infrastructure bill. Had like 50 million to the Smithsonian. It had all these little things carved out. The recent one, what they had for the border, what they keep saying that Trump backed down, they wanted to give $20 billion to Ukraine. I think it's like $10 billion to Israel. Like all that in a bill that's supposed to be for our border.
But
Like-
they only doing that because that's what they always do. And
Yeah, and that is a big problem with politics, and on the whole is that they name something so it could be sensationalized. Say it's this bill. Oh, they blocking it, so that means it could be the homeless bill. Oh, they blocking it because they don't care about the homeless people. But when you go and read it, it's like you have this money for all of these other things and only a small portion for the homeless people.
Homeless, yeah.
my point is this: both of them do that, and that's
No,
why
agreed.
when it comes to American politics, that's why I have to look at it as a comedy, because it's amazing what they come up with. It's amazing what they come up with, and what they, the nice little taglines they give these bills and stuff like that, and all the rest of it. And then when you see what really going on behind the scene and who actually benefiting and how they all friends anyhow and this and that, it's like, bro, and then the world just burning all around. It's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
you could just
it's to me, it still don't matter. Like it really don't matter who is the president. That, like, to me, they're all bad. Obama was bad. Freaking Kamala would have been bad. All is bad because all of them
horrible.
playing the same game. They are. Why you laugh? Yeah, they horrible. They terrible.
If you know the sad part about it is, boy, and you still have to sit here and exist, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Son, you say the
Oh,
world burning,
that's
just
right.
grab your hot dogs and marshmallow and sit down
Oh.
and enjoy yourself.
Just beat up your son on
Be
Yeah.
here for the ride.
That's it.
I hoping my boy Elon clear it up.
Clear what up?
That's the prayers for it.
All right.
He's supposed to be in charge of government efficiency.
Who? Elon Musk?
Elon Musk.
Like, so efficient that friggin'
That man better orchestrate
Oh,
deals
God.
and add to his
anyway.
Him
billions.
and
Like,
Trump is
look at
friends
that.
tonight.
What you mean? Bro, he been campaigning for Trump, bro.
Mhm.
But and them two used to be yarded on Twitter.
Remember, they were saying
Trump-
he was paying people $1 million to vote for Trump.
No, that's not what he was doing, actually.
What he was doing?
He was giving anybody in swing states, first anybody who was not registered to vote, he would give them $50 in order to vote. And from the time that he announced it, every day that a person was registered and they voted. It didn't matter who they voted for, as long as they voted in that swing state. He was given one person $1 million a day up until the election.
Oh wow! So one
That's
person
Yeah,
$1 million
sick,
a day.
man.
Shoot,
yeah.
but I couldn't have been in a swing state.
I'm right and God.
I wouldn't have been going back to work tomorrow. Yeah, Tracy, you're right.
Please.
What'd you say? Land him in court?
Yeah, court case over that. They say he
Oh,
was treated like a lottery.
oh yeah, they tried to, but just Elon too smart for that.
Yeah, I think that court case going nowhere.
Yeah, and not definitely not a Trump win, even if it goes somewhere else. Hey, pardon.
Yeah.
You
But I ain't
know,
think Trump the pardon, did he?
oh Lord. But they say he used to go to Diddy parties, so maybe he was
Oh
on the
boy.
list.
Boy, listen.
This
Don't
nigga
need
Diddy, man.
Puffy.
I just say, boy, this looking good for Diddy. Look at that pardon coming.
If Diddy get back out on the streets now,
Oh Lord.
Real
that's it.
terroristic
That's
actions.
If ask ChatGPT that, Pat, is Trump going to pardon Diddy?
Let's see. I
But
gotta
if he
see
could
this
just, well,
one.
I'll type that up, like real talk though. If he could just eliminate, if I could just have income taxes eliminated for 4 years,
Will
I'll be
Trump
sitting so
pardon
nice.
Diddy?
Especially because my baby about to go to college. Just
Uh,
work that out for me right quick.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I really hope that comes to pass. That one in particular.
Let's say bye.
It's still loading.
Oh,
Still trying to figure it out.
I can't even believe you asked that question.
I say, will Trump pardon Diddy? So
Oh, we gotta post that. Let's see what the response is. We gotta
it
post
was
it on social
blinking for
media.
a bit. Then it says search 2 sites. No public indication currently suggests that former President Donald Trump has any plans to pardon Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy is facing serious charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering, and his legal team is actively appealing his detainment and pushing for bail ahead of his trial. The
I
situation is complex, and Diddy's defense is challenging the evidence against him in court. For now, his case is progressing through the legal system without involvement from Trump or any pardon considerations.
I will say, if you do see Trump pardon Diddy, you know he do something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
You know
yeah.
you know that for a fact.
You got to keep them tapes in the archive. Make sure.
We disagree that we disagree that he did something.
No,
We disagree on that.
no. I saying
yes, nobody
no.
disagrees. No.
No, I saying if
these
Trump
them say innocent until proven guilty.
innocent till proven guilty, but I'm saying if Trump pardons him, then Trump do something.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
them tapes couldn't be leaked.
Yeah, shut down quick.
Isn't Trump the reason? I just okay, and I can say this out loud.
Go ahead.
Don't
Cut
judge me,
this part out.
because I really feel as though it's Trump who gave the order to kill Epstein. His name appears on the list more than anybody. Look it up.
Interesting.
Look at Isaiah.
So did Bill Clinton was on Epstein's plane more than anybody.
Clinton wasn't in power. When Epstein died, that's when Trump was president. Let's think about these things.
No. Yeah, but Hillary, the Clintons. Hold on, that my conspiracy hat on now.
You know what?
The Clintons.
The person who was the man, the head nigga in charge was Trump. He is the one who had the power. Hillary and Clinton and Bill didn't have no power to do nothing Epstein.
No, the Clintons have far-reaching hands. So if you go down the conspiracy tunnel with them, you will see there are a lot of people who mysteriously died in their orbits.
I believe Trump.
Jay-Z and Beyonce. Jay-Z and Beyonce politics say.
Hey, and so they say the Obama's getting on that list too. Apparently, you see Chef died.
On Epstein, on the list.
Man,
Obama them been clean for a while. When they send Kamala up there, all I sit down in my bed and say is, if they really wanted a black woman, they couldn't have just go get Michelle from vacation. Like, hey, come here. Because Because
Ah,
where are we going from a Kamala? How we going so wrong so fast? I just thought.
see, I think that the thing is going up against Trump is like is playing in the mud. And Trump is a mud monster. So like
Yeah, he
anything you
is.
sling at him, he dirty, man. Like
Yeah.
You can throw it back.
any mud throw on him, he ain't look like
Yeah.
nothing.
That make him stronger.
Yeah. Now you throw it on Michelle now, like tainted. You know what I mean? So even if there's a little bit of dirt, like it's problem. And you you'd already see Trump saying, Michael Obama.
Oh yeah, you know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus, that's the king of petty. He is petty.
yeah.
He and ghetto.
He petty bad.
But with this, what are y'all concerns about Trump being in office yet again?
Well, yeah, I ain't got no concerns. They live in the Bahamas. I have no concerns at all. However, the chips fall, they can fall.
Bro,
I
Cause
live
they,
here, Pat. Thanks for caring about
cause,
me
cause
and my little dark skin.
hold on. My son is in university,
bro,
but at the
Exactly.
end of
America
the
sneeze, y'all catch a cold, you know.
so guess what? It is what it is. It is what it is. Stock up
Okay.
on that damn Theraflu and flick in what see them all and call it a day.
Wow.
So Pot ain't got no worries.
No, hell no. Well, I
Oh,
mean, yeah, my son over there.
what your worries is, Tracy?
I am more concerned about what it means in the wider world in terms of the foreign policy and the instability. Because the first thing that I watched this morning wasn't necessarily the reactions of Americans. Either they were happy or they sad. But it was very interesting to see the takes that the Europeans and people from Africa and other different nations all over the world, like they're literally very concerned, and I think they have a right to be concerned because he really does not give a shit about anybody but himself, and he can go hard with this America first, and it doesn't matter who else gets hurt in the world, or that's kind of scary to me because I don't know how far it's gonna go, and he doesn't really have an incentive to care because no matter what, he cannot become president again. So he probably can go all out in this next
True.
Oh,
years.
okay, I got some questions on that because I hear people say that a lot. They say, he only care about himself, right?
Uh-huh.
If he only cared about himself, what is the reason for him running for president?
To stay out of fucking jail. Don't be dumb.
No, no, no. Okay, what's the reason him running for president the
You're gonna
first
have to
time?
bleep that part out.
Because he needed to make
No,
money. He was
you
going
ain't got
broke.
to delete that at all.
Oh,
You're gonna have
he
to bleep that part out.
his net worth actually dropped in his first presidency.
Oh my gosh.
His net
Yeah,
worth.
because his salary is
All
actually
that stuff,
reported now.
all
You
the
know what he
different
making.
Huh.
emoluments and this, that, the next thing. Ivanka them walk away with 500 million. You think boy, don't play with me, man. Don't do that.
Oi.
I ain't playing with you though. No, his net
Everything
worth.
on insurance name.
Look,
No,
His
but
net-
at the end
look
of
how
the
Tracy
day,
knows flaring. She
Everything
ready.
I'm
on
mad.
insurance
You
name.
make me mad. You make me mad. Oh my God, what are you saying? At
No,
the end
I'm being serious though.
was he was going broke though. He was going broke before he ran. And so at the end of the day, that was something to keep him in the spotlight. His show was dying, his show was just dead. And that was what had just saved him. He didn't expect the apprentice to do as well as it did. He was
Oh,
That's a real question though. I have a real question. What was Ivanka and her husband's net worth before his term in office compared to
so it
when he
wasn't no
finished?
damn 500 friggin' million.
I don't know what their thinking
We
was,
see.
but
Would that be public information?
Yeah.
Net worth? Yeah. Yeah.
Ivanka and who? Ivanka.
Her
Jared
husband
Kushner.
is Jared
Jared
Kushner,
Kushner.
yeah. I'm more
Um,
concerned about Jared Kushner. Let me look it up. Oh gee.
yeah. So Tracy, my thing, you saying he was going broke, but the thing was is they wanted to renew his show because it was the number one show at the time. They wanted him to come back. They had put because they went through the process of he took a step away while being on it for like 11, 12 years, and then like they had like Arnold take the helm in his position, and they wanted him to come back for an obscene amount of money, but he decided not to. So I mean, saying that it's about money, like
No, don't play with me, because whatever money is, no, I'm not doing that. Ivanka Trump. Oh no,
Whoa.
her net worth now is 800 million. My
The
It's
God.
eight
two, yeah,
hundred
the two
million.
have
I'm
been
not like that.
estimated to be worth a
Now,
combined 800 million at least. At
now
least.
I'm trying to see before.
Sick man, I can't get one of that age. Just a million.
Just one, but
Just 1 million. They can
So
make that back in a couple minutes.
in 2019, her net worth was 375 million. I'm trying to see how far back I could go.
That's
In
crazy.
2018, it was 300 million.
What the sick?
but a lot of that is probably in property value too, because you just said 2019, right?
Yeah, 2019 and 2018.
Yeah, but what
What
is it?
appreciation of property?
Yeah, what is it in 2020, 2021, 2022?
It's 20, well, I know. Let me see.
Kushner Companies sees value soar to $2.9 billion.
Exactly.
Man.
October 31st, 2024.
Man.
Kushner Company's total worth has
What do you do
nearly
with
tripled
MBS?
since 2016.
Since when?
2016. It has tripled.
Okay, what did it go from 2016 to 2020 to 2024?
Okay, so it says that 8 years ago, the company was only reportedly valued at $1 billion. Hold on. But had 1.2 billion in debt coming due in 2019.
0.2 in debt.
Yeah, $1.2 billion in debt coming due in 2019.
Damn.
The rich people know how to use the system.
Boy.
The system made for them.
Yep. Yep. System is made for them.
That's why Pac need to hurry up and get rich so we can benefit.
Hey, listen. Yeah, I gotta. Someone. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
I need a vehicle.
uh, but anyway, you were saying that he is in there to get money.
I feel like that's what he was there for. You could make a lot more money as president of the United States and leader of the free world, and you could make on a damn TV.
Yeah. And it's the families around and making money. It says here, to wrapping up this article, it says as a whole, the Kushner family's net worth has jumped to an estimated 7.1 billion from 1.8 billion in 2016. The sum includes the Kushner Company's holdings and ownership stakes in 8 personal properties worth at least 100 million. And Jared and his younger brother, Josh Kushner's investment firms.
Okay, so that's the Kushners. What about Donald Jr., Eric? I don't know what the rest of his children.
What? We about to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah,
that's a rabbit hole. Like that's the next topic.
No, I say all of this because I mean, saying that people in your orbit are making more money. Okay, in the same sense, I guess, Joe Biden and his son Hunter.
Didn't do nothing like that. Come on.
What you mean ain't do nothing like what?
Oh, so Elon Musk,
7-something billion.
Elon Musk's net worth has jumped 20 billion.
Damn.
They saying after Trump's victory.
Yeah, Elon Musk net worth is fluctuate in billions day by day.
I'm looking for
No, but
TJ.
what I mean is Hunter was making a lot of money due to the relation to his dad, right? I'm not ascribing any nefarious anything to that. What I'm saying is that's somebody surrounding Biden. So in the same way,
Yeah, but
people.
he didn't have an official post. Biden didn't give Hunter any kind of official post, whereas Trump was giving his children and his in-laws official governmental posts and having them in rooms and dealing with classified things that they had no qualification to be dealing with.
That sounds like Bahamian politics.
I mean, you know how we.
Okay, Donald Trump Jr. had a net worth of 200 million in 2021. To date, he August 15, 2024, he has a net worth of 350 million.
And all of that was after Trump was president.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's
So
a stupid and we all that.
so excuses for some excuses. Hold on, no, huh? So he's laugh a
I
lot.
say I must be the comic. I'd be dead. Seriously, I'll be laughing.
I know you would be serious, but what I'm saying is, okay, his son only went from 200 to 350 million, and that's him out of office, right? You're talking about Jared Kushner. He increased his company went from $1 billion in 2016, and today is worth $7 billion, which is
Okay.
not, which isn't outside of the norm.
In 2019, so 2019, Donald Trump Jr.'s net worth was 25 million.
Okay.
So 25 million,
And then
20
it goes
million.
to 200 million and then to 300 something. Okay, then that
That's
ain't
No.
no fishy, but that.
Again, that's outside of office. And also, like I said, a lot of things after COVID, a lot of property value has increased rapidly. Like again, I tell you, when I was looking for a home in a matter of 2 months, like the price for me to buy the home went from 330 to 390 in 2 months. So I mean, judge, when you're talking about $1 million homes and properties and if it's commercial and all of these types of things, a lot of stuff is to property value. Again, this when you're talking about net worth.
You know,
But I'm crazy enough.
Pattern ourselves after them in our pursuit of financial
Because some
freedom.
deals you can't make while your daddy's sitting in office. Let's be real. Some deals you cannot make while your daddy's sitting in office. Especially because you're always in the White House.
Agreed. There's some deals you can't make, but I'm saying you can't attribute these things to malice, and you can't attribute these things to them doing backroom deals and stuff like that. When you're talking about a company that's worth $1 billion, when he first gets into office, but 8 years later is worth $7 billion. I mean, that's not a ridiculous jump in value of a company, is it?
Okay.
No, I'm asking, is that a ridiculous jump in 8 years for a value of a company?
From what
If you ever need a legal team, boy, this is here.
From 1 billion to 7 billion.
I ready to go sleep
In
now.
8 years?
I can just hope
In
and
8
pray
years.
I enter that.
Actually,
Get
I didn't
Ito
know
is
that.
my
I'm about to go
lawyer.
on.
Exactly my point. It's
That
not
ain't
that
bad
bad.
at all. I mean, considering inflation and all these different things happening, I mean, from
Not
1 billion to 7 billion in 8 years, nah, but
now if you say he went from 1 billion to 100 billion in 8 years, that might be
yeah.
especially if he didn't produce
So
anything.
it's a moderate jump for you.
It's a moderate jump.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I ready to get my banker too, because trust me, I want that kind of a moderate jump in my income.
I know, right?
Yes. If Tito could do that for me, the commission would be amazing, Tito. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, you got some ideas in the works.
Yeah, I'm ready to listen.
Let me go petition so I could be part of this Trump White House team.
Yeah, man, please.
Let me move to Washington. I could join Pelosi them and tell y'all just what they're investing.
Please, please. I
So
gotta be
okay,
everybody in college.
okay. Again, let run through this. What is it again? What is it you fear about him being in office?
Mine is just foreign policy because I mean, the concerning countries, we know that he has what now appears to be a good relationship. But we know my boy, he little unstable. he little, he little. You just can't rub him the wrong way, right? When you rub him the wrong way, he don't know how to play nice on a merry-go-round with other people. Um, I might tell you. And then he just like y'all ever see when children just can't get their way? Like he is
Mhm.
showing like real temper
Tantrum.
tantrums. And the problem is them temper tantrums is be public, right? So it kind of gives the game buck away. That's one of my fears. And the next one is simply giving immunity to police officers. That to me, that's saying like this is an open um
Or that's what he said. He's given immunity to.
yes,
No,
and he back it.
hold on,
They
hold on.
when the police officer shoot that girl, it was a man. It was she actually called for intruder. Um, I don't want to mix the cases up.
I
Macy
like it.
was it Macy?
I have no idea what you're talking about, to be honest. So,
She actually called the police. Yes, it was Macy. She actually called the police because she called for an actual intruder, and she was actually boiling some water.
Okay,
that
So
one, I saw
yeah.
that, right?
yes, right. So, and then the reporter asked him, like, even in when you look at this case, you still back in, immunity for police officers, and he was like, yeah, for them the ability to them do their job. I don't think immunity is the answer. Do we want to pay police officers more? Yes. Some states are very underpaid, and we talking about officers who putting their lives on the line to protect and serve the public. Some states underpaid. Yes, we need to find more funding for him for them. And I talk about like there are some police officers who make less than $30,000 a year. To me, that's wild. That is wild.
Okay, question with that, because you say qualified immunity, right? So I pulled it up. Do you think cops should have no immunity?
No, they shouldn't be immune.
No
I, I,
type no type of
I
immunity.
think we're gonna.
I mean,
Because
in
I'm gonna read what qualified immunity is in a moment.
So here's the thing. We have seen too many instances where there's racial undertones
use of
to what
power.
we've seen playing out in the media,
Mhm.
right? And there's a lot of, and I'm gonna be frank, there's a lot of racist police officers hiding behind that badge.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So when we talk about as a blanket, because it's going to apply to, it's going to apply federally, so it's going to apply to all police departments, all law enforcement departments. The answer is no. You already govern and have a set of standard operating procedures. Nobody is above the law, whether you adorn that uniform or not.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna read what AI say qualified immunity is. Qualified immunity is a legal doctrine that protects government officials from personal liability when performing their jobs, unless they violated a clearly established constitutional right. It's a
And they
defense.
shouldn't have it either.
It's a defense that can be raised by a government official in a civil trial, and if granted, the plaintiff claim is dismissed. Say
And they shouldn't have it either.
So say how it's used. Government officials can use qualified immunity to protect themselves from liability in cases involving misconduct such as police brutality, fatal shooting, sexual misconduct, and stealing. How it's determined. To establish qualified immunity, the court must determine that the right violated was clearly established at the time of the official's actions. This means that the legal standards were clear enough that a reasonable official would know that their actions were unlawful. Who it protects? It protects state and local officials, including law enforcement officers, teachers, and social workers. how it's controversial. Qualified immunity is a controversial topic, with some viewing it as a necessary protection for government officials and others viewing it as a way for civil servants to harm others without consequence.
And see, here's the thing. I do believe the police should be sued in their personal capacity. When you violate that badge, because taxpayers, yeah, it's great if I violate my badge in my professional capacity, and I know that the state covering that. What is it from, like, what is the deterrent for me not to do it again? Now, when you have to affect people, people, they move with money. We move with money. When I can personally come after you and say, listen, because I do believe that you're racist, you shouldn't even have a badge. What's the point? Because you can't apply your duties to protect and serve as a blanket. It should be a blanket. I shouldn't be looking at the color of the skin. I shouldn't be looking at any of that. My job is to protect and serve, no matter who it is. So no, I don't believe that they should have it.
United States, and the police have roots in capturing niggas. That's where they start. That's what they.
That is true. That's why I decided for truth.
But see,
that's like how I believe at home we should be able to sue police in their personal capacity.
I agree with that.
Then they'll stop doing foolishness.
I halfway agree. And I say that in the sense that I don't know if you remember, like a while ago, when we was back in school, remember when that teacher spanked that kid and the kid died?
Where?
This one, Gigi, we was in like grade eight or nine. No, the student didn't go to SAC. It was at another school.
What?
Yes. So the thing was, is the student got beaten, right? And this when Forbes take a break from caning people.
I remember that break. I didn't remember what the break was for.
Right.
I just knew I could do foolishness at the time.
Right. So what happened was it was a student that got beaten at school. I forget what school it was, and the student had a heart condition and ended up dying the next day.
That was an LW Young. That sounds familiar.
I don't remember what school it was. So in like that capacity, right? If you're given the ability to discipline children, right? And I can't think of a example for police officers off the top of my head, but in a situation like that, whereas you have the ability to discipline a child and the child happens to get some type of permanent consequence or even die from it, right? I don't think in that situation, like the teacher you should be able to liably go after the teacher because they didn't go beyond their duties as a teacher.
I think that's a matter we should just send to court, eh? Yeah, that's a matter we should just send to court. And then if court decides that the teacher isn't liable in the personal capacity, then we let the court do this job, man.
So that would be then qualified immunity in an extent.
It would be.
Right.
And but that's why I believe that we should just not give it and let the court do its job. Okay, but I say we just giving it out. That's a really gray area. Ain't everybody's play nice on the playground. And police a lot of play nice on the playground when it comes to people of,
okay. I understand where you're coming from. I guess in that capacity I could understand it and I could agree with that to that capacity. I guess maybe different term, maybe more hashed out in terms of what it covers, what it doesn't, that kind of thing.
I see that's the thing. They don't like to get to specifics, right? And that's a fair for me. We don't like to get to specifics. We just can't because it has to be some deterrent. And I don't think it's enough of a deterrent that the state is just going to pay the civil case. No, I need to be able to sue you in your personal capacity because when your family is affected, then you have some empathy for my situation.
Okay, so now in that case, if the person then is now personally liable, what happens if in the case, let's say police brutality, somebody dies and the family is now suing? So now the state is no longer at the state is no longer liable for it since you're going after this person personally. So
They
I mean,
are. We sue both capacities now. Our laws allow us to sue both capacities.
okay. So you're taking, so
Mhm.
you're gonna take from both then.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
in
Because
so
the
no,
issue
I'm
and
asking.
the issue that I find with a lot of these police departments is that when we have instances as such, you notice one the police department is let them go and hush it over, they could just go apply in another police department. So the public never knows until you've gone too far.
Okay. So in that regard, I think you would say then uh say a person, they suing the cop found liable, they suing the cop and they get awarded $5 million. Uh so then you would then take everything you could from the cop and then the state will fill in the rest.
I don't know specifically how it's done. I do know that our laws allow for you to sue
No,
both in a professional and civil capacity. I mean, personal capacity.
okay, no, I'm asking if this would be your idea of in terms of dealing with it so that it's not a liability on the taxpayers.
Uh, Yes, take from
Okay.
their personal first.
Okay.
Take from their personal first because I didn't tell you
Fair enough.
to go be racist and go get a badge. I didn't tell you that.
So Dito, you don't have any concerns? You think it's gonna be rainbows and roses and
N-
butterflies and things
concerns with,
under
with
Trump? Yeah.
concerns under Trump being in office. Uh I don't really have concerns. So when it comes to the presidency, my concerns come in two ways. My concerns come to the economy because really and truly I care about my pocket first,
Make
right?
it better.
And then secondly is I'm only concerned about foreign affairs to the extent that we could go to war.
Yes.
So
Okay.
so in the capacity of the economy, no, I'm not worried just based on how it was when he was first in office. In terms of foreign affairs, we didn't have any wars the last time, but I don't fully believe he keeps saying like he'll be able to end these wars real quick. Uh, I don't know if it's that easy. So,
Yeah.
so
I don't think it's
I
that easy.
I hold my tongue on that. I say I will wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, and I only say that because these places are already in war. If they were inching towards war ahead and he got in there before the war happened, then I would have had less concerns. But being that those places are currently in war and United States want to stick their head in other people's business,
And we
uh,
should stay out of it.
that
We don't need to send nobody to war.
that could affect me.
Because
So let me ask you a
because
question. Oh, sorry. Not,
no, I'm just saying because we never actually the reason why we say we go to war is never the reason we actually go to war. So I don't support us going to war. Leave these people home with their family, please.
Yeah, I am down for war in very few circumstances,
Very few.
and it's
It's
more
not power, control, or money.
no,
We need to stay up in business.
it's in defense. That's my only stance of going to war is if somebody attacks the U.S. first, you then retaliate, and then the retaliation is strictly for that. It's not like they do the whole 9/11 thing and end
Money,
up being
power,
in
and
war.
control.
Yeah, end up being
And
in
go.
war for forever. I mean, what?
are you at all interested? I'm asking, are you at all interested in like his stance on NATO? Because that's what a lot of the European nations are very concerned about, is him suddenly pulling out of NATO, and then they have to deal with the war in Ukraine by themselves, and
Um,
Putin approach other different countries. You know what I mean?
I'm not concerned with him pulling out of NATO just because the last time in which he was trying to pull out, it wasn't really to pull out. It was more to get the other countries to put in the share that they're supposed to, because all the other countries wasn't. The United States at the time was the only one putting in I think it's supposed to be like 2% of the GDP, and the United States was putting a little bit more than the 2%, whereas most other countries was putting 1 or less than 1%. And the threat to pull out of it and saying, okay, y'all ain't want to pay your fair share, we footing the bill for everybody else safety. Uh, as long as I think the other countries are putting their share, I have no fear of them pulling out of NATO. Yeah.
I just want to see what happens. Like I could be watching whenever Trump in power. I watching BBC straight through. I can't deal with American news.
And my
That's a
third
good
my
point. Just watch BBC.
my third thing is I mean just the illegal immigration, like cut it down. That's that's my three concerns.
What do you mean? I ain't sure I understand what you mean about that.
Uh, Try to eliminate as much illegal immigration as possible.
You try to eliminate. You want him to do that?
To stop
Illegal. Yeah,
yeah,
illegal,
to
yes.
stop illegal immigration. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And,
Yeah.
and a part of that may come by just opening more ways to like work permits and green card opportunities. Because we have so many jobs unfulfilled in the
Yeah.
US. It really is.
That
They don't seem open to that.
I think people are open. So there's a process in terms of getting a job here. Like a lot of places could get you a green card, but getting the work permit and stuff is an expense. You can end up spending like 10 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way companies can do that, they have to show that they have attempted a reasonable search of somebody here first getting the job.
Right.
And then at that point, they can then advertise it and bring somebody else in. So if they were to cut down on the process for that, cut down on the cost of that, um, I think that would be a better solution. And also figuring out, excuse me, to say in what regards that at certain times, like, hey, we need people in this industry, so we're looking for people in this industry. It can't just be hey, free for all. We just giving out work permits. It gotta make sense.
But okay, so with my understanding, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just telling you what it looked like from where I'm sitting. From my understanding, the reason why so many people are going there illegally in the first place is because the process is so stringent and so just strident. But then on the other side of it too, Americans seem to just not want any new people. So even if they are quote unquote qualified and they do quote unquote go through the process, a lot of them seem to also just not want.
So part of it is I don't think America has a problem with legal immigrants coming in. I think there's a problem with un unskilled labor coming in. When there's a need for skilled labor in certain areas, I think there's a problem with the asylum process as it stands right now. A lot of people coming from uh, further south countries, whereas as I understand it, the actual asylum process is you're supposed to go to the nearest country that isn't in some type of conflict, and then the US, if they wanted to extend, can then extend asylum asylum to asylum seekers at those places. Like that's what they did with Syria. A lot of Syrian refugees went to Europe, and because there was so many of them for how war torn the country was, then America provided asylum to some of the Syrian refugees. So I think the asylum process needs to be fixed. It can't just be, hey, come, because right now a lot of it is catch and release. A lot of it is looking the other way. A lot of it is flipping.
And some of them just waiting in detention centers. I don't want to come here.
Yeah,
I don't know why they want to come here and do that.
yeah, and there's so much of the border that's unpatrol. Like people could literally just walk over.
I
Um,
watched some videos where they know where the certain holes is and they just go and it be like so much
yeah,
of them just go non-stop.
yeah. So I think that it's hard to say allowing more legal people when you have so many illegal immigrants coming in, and like people want to disparage or say to legal like Mexican immigrants, saying like, hey, how y'all feel about this, because they saying they want to get rid of the illegals and stuff like that. Like when I lived in California, a lot of the people I work with was Mexican, and 90% of them was like, bro, we don't want them here. They want to come in, they come in the right way. Like go back over there and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like a lot of the people I work with, they were like, they were born here, but they were like their parents waited for 10 years in order to get in, and they went the right way. I don't think it should take 10 years, but I think
Yeah, 10 years is a stretch. Even sibling visas right now taking 10 years. That is so long.
yeah, so I think there's things that needs to be done in order to correct that. But those are my three concerns. When it comes to other things, I think you should look to more towards the local level and say, hey, this these are things that are here that we need to contend with. That's part of, like, in terms of the abortion thing. I'm fine with it going to the states because I think people in different areas have different. I don't view the United States as the United States. I view it as 50 different countries. And
That's a good way to look at it.
and,
That's a good
yeah,
way to look at it.
and you go to the federal government should just be a unifying body to say, hey, like for instance, yo, I'm traveling from here, from Florida. I go into New York. I drive in. Hey, my driver's license could be accepted as I go along the place. There's a certain unifying set of laws that I think the federal government then comes along with, and that's just to keep the laws in between states for state commerce and stuff like that. But when it comes down to people in Florida, different from people in Cali, from people in Wyoming, from people in Dakota, from people in Texas, and I say, hey, let them have the laws that they want, because it's the same thing, living in your house versus your neighbor next door. There's certain rules you have in your house. Your neighbor may have some different rules, but we have a shared set of rules once we exit those domiciles. So that's how I view it. And the more local you are, people just tend to have shared values. So there are certain things you may say, hey, these are the laws we want here.
That abortion thing is so touchy though, because oh Lord, that's another headache.
Yeah, I think that I know that's the best example because at the end of the day, that's so much people dying unnecessarily.
The fact
I
that
mean, y'all
you
don't
could
crazy
have
with
a
it.
tubal of pregnancy or that fetus literally killing you, and you live in a state where you literally in the hospital, but the people them can perform
Nothing until you
a
go to bed.
DNC. Yeah. They can't release you because they're releasing you against medical advice, so your family can sue there. That is so scary. And then and then for me working in child protective services, the fact that you have these kids who literally are rape victims getting pregnant and they're forced to have these babies, that is so traumatic.
Traumatic.
That is so traumatic. Um, I think we definitely failed on that topic. we truly failed.
That
And
that
even kicking it back to the states sounds great, but we see what Florida did. Florida was like, no, we didn't want nobody getting an abortion. And I'm like, Jesus, y'all didn't even have the common sense
it's
to
a
say
it's a
the
6 week ban.
parameters around it. Like,
What does do, Gigi? What does do when, like, do they end up giving the babies up for adoption or something like that?
and we need that because we have so many
Yeah.
children in care
Hold
that
on.
we can't even get out.
Hold on.
Uh,
Before we continue this, let me give my shot of the day because this is a topic, definitely a topic for another day. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.